got bright rosy cheeks and a fluffy white beard with marshmallow walls and a big red chair. Santa's coming.
Ho, ho, ho.
Santa's coming.
And welcome back to Santa Has a Podcast. How is everyone today? So good to see all of you and welcome you back to our little gathering and everything that's going on. We're going to share stories, some laughs, and all kinds of wonderful things from the North Pole. So are you ready? Well, I'm ready too. But before we jump into all the fun, I thought it would be important, in fact, I usually always think it's important, to cover our riddle from last week. Do you remember when we closed out last week, we had a riddle, and I asked you the question of the riddle, and you were to guess what it was? Well, I'm going to repeat the riddle right now, and you tell me if you got the answer. Here's the riddle. I'm curved like a hook and striped red and white. I'm sweet on your tongue. I'm a holiday delight. What am I? Okay, do you know the answer? That's right, it's a candy cane. Oh, that was a pretty easy one, wasn't it? Yeah, red and white and shaped like a hook and oh, delicious. Do you like candy canes? A lot of people like candy canes. They're wonderful. Well, anyway, today we're going to talk about please and thank you and ho, ho, ho and some other little things like that. A little bit about manners, you know. That's an important part of doing all the things that we do for holiday spirit and for being good and good deeds and things like that. Here's some fun facts about that. You know, in Victorian times, children, when they would greet their parents, would bow and curtsy, yes, before opening a gift. In fact, they would do the same thing. So if somebody gave them a little gift or a box, they would sit there and say, thank you very, very much. And then they would open their present. Or a little girl might do a little curtsy and open up her present. So again, a very courteous thing. And this is very, very special when they would do it. Now, Santa's elves are also trained in kind words, you know, using kind word quick response. In other words, being able to do it fast. They say please sometimes even before it's requested. You know, they're really good about it, okay? At the North Pole dinner table, for example, reindeers actually wait for their turn. Unless somebody sneezes, then it's havoc. They go all over the place. But again, everybody tries to have good manners because when you have good manners, everything moves smoothly, you know, and it's proper and it's in order. And I think that's what people want. They want a little order in their life, a little structure. And so please and thank you and things like that help out a little bit. Anyway, those are fun facts that kind of jingle my bells and all that type of stuff. Good manners. But right now, I think it's time to zip over to Candy Cane Square and find out what's going on with Chatter Snowglitz. So, Chatter, what's going on?
Oh, thank you, Santa. It's snowflakes and sleigh bells over here. I am Chatter Snowglitz reporting live from Candy Cane Square, where stories are swirling like snow and everyone's humming jingle bells in harmony. Let's see what's happening today. Well, the elf classrooms are going full bore on practicing compliment tags because it's important that teammates build each other up. So compliment tag practice it is. Speaking of teams, the sleigh maintenance elves have polished the sleigh bells for extra sparkle on Santa's next test flight. Can't wait to see that thing shine. The reindeer are in polite parade rehearsal saying, "Excuse me," as they fly past. I can't wait to hear them all say "excuse me" as they are flying through the sky. And the most important are Mrs. Claus. She is leading Magical Manners Tea Time for the new elves that are just coming into their own. We are reporting live where kind words are like peppermint sprinkles. Small, but delightfully powerful. It's Chatter Snowglitz jingling out. Back to you, Santa.
Well, thank you very much, Chatter. I love hearing what Mrs. Claus is doing because manners are so important. For not just for the elves, for all of you children out there. You need to have good manners, saying please and thank you, and sometimes holding your place in line, waiting in line, you know, and not trying to crowd or anything like that. These are all good manners and something we all need to practice. Not just you children. Even I have to practice my manners, and I have to be careful, you know, that I say thank you, and especially to Mrs. Claus, because she does so many wonderful things for me. I'm saying thank you all the time. And then the elves do a lot of things for me, too. So I'm always having to say thank you to them because I do appreciate everything they do. they make me look good to you and everybody else. So again, if any of my elves are watching right now, thank you, elves, for everything that you've done, okay? And you kids, keep in the good work and saying please and thank you. By the way, let's dive into today's holiday subject, which is, of course, please and thank you and stuff like that. But let's talk about the powerful words that are out there. We talk about manners and good things. For example, the word please. Please shows respect and makes people want to help. So again, please is a wonderful word to use. So when you want to ask for something, you say, please, may I have this? Or please, will you help me? Please is very, very good about that. Another set of powerful words, how about thank you? Thank you makes someone feel and seem appreciated. And so, again, use the word thank you. Whenever somebody does something and you like what they've done or they have helped you or something like that, it's very courteous to say thank you and show them you appreciate what they've done. Here's another one that's really neat. Excuse me. Sometimes we make a mistake or we interrupt somebody or we bump into somebody or little things like that. And we all make little mistakes or do little things like that. And it's very proper to say, excuse me, and it helps us be kind even when we do something quickly or wrong. Sometimes excuse me can also be used as, say, if you have to move somewhere quickly. You can say, excuse me, I need to get through. Don't just push your way through. You say, excuse me, before you move through. So it's good. This is a really set of important words. I'm sorry. So often we don't apologize for our mistakes or what we've done. I'm sorry fixes a lot of small mistakes. If you make a little mistake, own up to it. Say, I'm sorry. Let them know that that you are really sorry for what you've done or made a mistake. Sometimes you knock something over. You knock over a glass of milk, okay? Then immediately you've got to say, "Oh, I'm sorry," And it's a simple thing to say, but again, it is a wonderful and courteous thing to say. And of course, that will help fix small mistakes, and of course, in big-hearted ways. So that's always nice. And then, of course, this one is kind of fun. I like this one because these are powerful words. These words are ho, ho, ho. Yes, my trademark. It's Santa's way of spreading joy and light. And years ago, centuries ago, the ho, ho, ho was used as a way of saying hi to people that were far away. It was a greeting. And if they were across a field or way down the street, instead of just saying hi or anything like that, the easier word was to go ho. And of course, eventually it became ho ho ho, so they could really hear the greeting. And of course, it became part of my signature trademark. So when I'm with a big crowd, it's a big loud ho ho ho, ho ho ho. And if I was right next to you and just talking to you, it might be more of a ho 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 ho. And if I was with a tiny little baby, it might be ho, 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 So I use ho, ho, ho all the time. And it's not just for me. You can say ho, ho, ho. Mrs. Claus says ho, ho, ho. Everybody can use ho, ho, ho. It's a wonderful way just to say hello, okay? So I want you to do this. I'm going to be listening for all of you. I want you, everybody repeat after me, okay? Give me a ho. Okay, give me a ho, ho. Give me a ho, ho, ho. What does it mean? It means Merry Christmas. Yes. And you could do that with your friends, too. You can have everybody yelling ho, ho, ho. It's a lot of fun, okay? Now, some real-life moments are always important to talk about, and please and thank you and good manners and stuff like that. When Tinker the Elf said, oops, I'm sorry, and helped another elf get out of the way. In other words, this was a term where Tinker, tripped and almost fell down, but he said, "I'm sorry," and that was a great way of, apologizing and having good manners. There was a little girl one time. She once said thank you to a janitor, and his smile lit up. Yes. In other words, all she was doing is the janitor was just helping clean up around the area around the classroom, I think it was, and she said thank you to the janitor. Now, he didn't expect anybody to say thank you for what he did. This was his job. He did it every day, cleaning up and doing all this work. And here this little girl said thank you. And it put such a big smile on his face. You can do the same thing. You can make people feel good. You can make them smile and be happy just by saying simple words like please and thank you. It makes it so easy. Kindness is the real magic of Christmas. Everything we do about giving and bringing joy to others, it's all part of our kindness. And we carry it with us wherever we go. So again, you can always have a little please, a little thank you, a little I'm sorry, different words to show courtesy to others, okay? Can you guys remember that? Oh, that's fantastic. I do appreciate that. Well, now it's time to get into a little bit of fun and maybe a little bit of a giggle. Let's head over to Rudolph and check out on the Jingle Jokes and see how things are going, okay? Hey, Rudolph, are you ready? Santa, here's my first one for you. What falls but never gets hurt? It's snow. Here's another one for you, Santa. What do you call Santa when he takes a break? Santa Paws. Well, that's it, Santa. Oh, those are really funny. You slay me every week, Rudolph, with all these wonderful little things. Santa paws. Yeah, that sounds neat. Of course, if I were a pet and I had paws, it'd be Santa Paws also. That's my bit of fun. Anyway, now it's time to peek into the mailbag. It's time for our Mailbox Magic and see what you've got. I know a lot of you have been sending us notes and making little bits of leaving messages for us of questions that you have. So let's get working right here to the Magic Mailbox and check out. We've got a couple letters to start off with, and I have the first one from Charlotte. And Charlotte, I think she's in the second grade. She's 7 years old. And Charlotte says, Dear Santa, I love making cards for people and for hugging my grandma extra tight. This year, I would like to have a baking set and I can make cookies like her. Oh, Charlotte, that is beautiful. Well, it's nice that you make cards. I'm sure that you give these cards to different people, and every time you give out a card, there's a big smile. And that's one of the things we talk about, doing good deeds and special things like that. And, of course, hugging your grandma. Oh, grandmas love hugs. That's one of the things grandmas are here for is for hugs. Both the hug you give them and the hugs they give you. It's always wonderful because a hug is one of the nicest forms of love. I think that's great. Well, a baking set. That is on the list of magical toys that we make at the North Pole. So let me see what I can do because I think it would be nice if you could make some cookies that you could give to Grandma. So you be good, and I'll tell you what, I'm going to try to surprise you on Christmas morning, okay? Okay, that's good. Let's check our next letter, see what we've got here. I've got one from Noah. Noah is 6 years old, and Noah says, Dear Santa, I have been practicing saying please and thank you every day. Even when I really wanted the last cookie, I wanted to say please. And if I got the last cookie, then I could say thank you. Well, that is neat. I think that's great, Noah. And again, saying please and thank you is very, very, very important. Well, now I believe we've got some audio questions or audio notes from some of the kids. So let's hear our first one, okay?
Santa, do you ever get tired when you're traveling around the world?
Do I ever get tired when I'm traveling around the world? No, that's one of the reasons why I exercise and eat properly and get plenty of sleep before the season so that I can do all of the work in one night. And by the way, it's not just me. The reindeer do the same thing. We all work very, very hard. The reindeer actually work harder than I do because they're pulling that big sleigh with that big load in it. Plus, I'm in the sleigh, so they're pulling me around too. So sometimes they need a little bit of a break, but we all work very, very hard, and we never really get tired because we're excited. We love what we're doing. We're so happy to bring things to you because we know that Christmas morning there's going to be a world of smiles all over with everybody that the presents they got. So we love what we're doing. Okay, I think we've got another audio question. Where is it?
Hi, my name's West and I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I have a question. How come no one's ever found the North Pole?
Well, actually, some people have found the real North Pole, but finding Santa's special little city at the North Pole, that's almost impossible. There's a lot of magic involved to keep us hidden away from everybody. But Admiral Byrd and some other people went up there, and the military groups have had expeditions to go up there. In fact, some people actually go on travel trips where they can actually try to go up to the North Pole. And it's very involved because you have to go to Alaska, and then you have to get on a little plane to fly to a certain area and get off, and then you have to get into either vehicles or sleds and have sled dogs pull you to get you to the North Pole. But that's the real magnetic north, as we call it, where your compass, if you had a compass, you could see the magnetic north. And that is that North Pole. But the area that we're at the North Pole, I can't tell you exactly how far it is from the magnetic north. It's really close, but I don't want anybody to sneak in on us, so I'm going to keep it a secret, okay? But know that we're checking on you all the time. We have all the records there, and of course, we're making sure that we get all the toys produced in time to get them out on Christmas Eve, okay? So that's it for our questions so far, and those are great letters from all of you, and of course the audio messages, and anybody can do that. You can go to our website and you can leave messages for Santa, questions for me, and I will try to answer them on our podcast so that you can know what's going on at the North Pole and all the wonderful things that we have going on for all of you, okay? Now that we've heard all of that information, it's the special time when we slow down for a second and we get very quiet, because we're going to be listening for the spirit meter. So be very quiet. Let's listen in. Where's the spirit meter? Listen. Oh my gosh. Wow, it's sounding stronger than last week. Every week it gets better. I love what you guys are doing out there. Your good deeds, and you're being kind to others, and you're saying please and thank you and all those special things. That all makes the meter, the spirit meter, go higher and higher. And we get better readings all the time. And I hopefully we'll reach all the way to the top on the spirit meter by Christmas Eve, because if we do that, that means we've got unlimited power to get us around the world and to all of your homes and to deliver all the toys. And that's one of the things that we want to try to do, okay? So now that's good deeds that help make that meter work. So let's talk about last week's good deed that we had you. And the idea was I wanted you to play or read something to a sibling or a little friend, okay? So if you don't have a brother or a sister, maybe you have a neighbor or a friend, did you read to them? Did you tell them a story? Now, if you don't read or you can't tell a story, did you maybe get some of your toys and bring your toys out and let them play with them with you? You know, if you can share your toys and play. So this is kind of a neat thing to do. It's a good deed of sharing something with somebody else. So if you did that this last week, you helped our spirit meter. And we can tell because you saw how high it was. That's all because of your work in doing that. Now, each week I give you a different deed, a different task. So let's talk about what we're going to do for this week. This week, I'd like you to think about this. Use your good manners, okay, with 3 different people, okay? This is not hard. You just have 3 different people, and I want you to be able to say thank you or please, or maybe you want to make it a little different and say, you're awesome, something like that. But any type of good manner type thing, any kind of words. So please, thank you, you're awesome. Those are great things to do. And sometimes it's just, coming to people and saying hello and how are you, things like that. But these are wonderful greetings. But if you can do some good deeds with these types of greetings, this is your week of good manners, okay? Can you do good manners? Wonderful. And if you have some suggestions for Santa or the elves about good manners, that what you do that's different than what we've talked about, tell us. Go to the website. Tell us what your good manners are so that we can share that with other people. Is that good? Okay. Now, I know the spirit meter is rising already because you guys are thinking about things that you're going to do, and this is important to all of the things we're doing. Well, my merry little pals, that is all there is for today. We're going to get going. We've got so many things to do. And Somebody's waving at me. Oh, yes, I forgot. My director's back there. One of the elves is waving at me, telling me I've got to do the riddle of the day. Okay, yes, okay, here we go. I have a riddle for all of you. Are you ready for the riddle? Is everybody at home ready? I'm looking. Okay, good. Here we go. The riddle is like this. I bake sweet treats and wear a red dress. I help with the lists and clean up the mess. I live with Santa and love to give hugs. Who am I? With cookies and mugs. This has got to be an easy one. I bet you already know who it is, right? Well, don't tell anybody. Keep it to yourself. And next week, I'll tell you the actual answer, okay? So you'll be good. You keep the answer to yourself. I'm going to repeat this one more time. Here it is. I bake sweet treats, and I wear a red dress. I help with the lists, and I clean up the mess. I live with Santa and love to give hugs. Who am I? With cookies and mugs. Okay? I know all of you know the answer. You must know the answer. But we'll give you the answer next week, okay? So tune in next week. In the meantime, keep spreading the joy and keep spreading the kindness, okay? And I'll talk to you next time on Santa Has a Podcast. Ho, ho, ho!